Hey, strong people, it's Beck here, and I am joined by Mike Battolino.
Hello, hello, hello.
We had technical difficulties. We've been trying to record a podcast for 7 weeks in four score 7 years. I don't even know what any of that stuff means.
So
Um,
four score, a score of years is actually 20.
it's like a
So four
stone.
score.
Like, who?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. How Terry Hollands always says how many stones he weighs,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, damn it, I gotta convert that
Yeah.
real quick.
So a score is 20 years ago.
Yeah. So when he said four score and 7 years ago, that was 87 years ago because it was 1776 to 1863.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So World's Strongest Man is like two scores old.
World's strongest man is four. Yeah.
Two.
So yeah. Wait. Anyway, there's a lot of math going on here. I was just making sure my 87 was right, but I'm pretty sure that is. And
This
anyway, record breakers. Should we jump into jump into
Yes,
record more
because we
numbers?
we really have to redeem ourselves because so far this is the worst podcast we've ever done.
No, it's definitely not. I'm sure there's a worse one out there.
Yeah, so it's Arnie week. Uh, we're just a few days away from the Arnie and everything going on, and more goes on every year at the
Yeah,
Arnold Classic.
including Steinborn squats.
Yeah, which is great, and I really need to repost that video of Mr. Martins himself doing not just the Steinborn squat, but it's the Steinborn rockover squat. You want to describe for the listening audience exactly what that is, or they could just go to Martins' Instagram if they haven't seen it yet.
Well, I'm wondering, does he? So it'll start completely on the ground, and then he brings the bar and makes the bar vertical. Then he gets underneath it. Yeah, it's just it's intense. I mean, there's no question. It's not only incredibly athletic, and strong. It just looks insane. And the record is
550.
550, 98 years ago. Yeah, I have no doubt Martins will do it.
Yeah, he did 505. I think he'll do more than that in training. So these are the record breakers events for the Arnold. This one was just added. It seems like they took the stone out. I remember that. I'm pretty sure that was on the
So it
list of the
wasn't.
Arnold. I
I
think
guess
so.
maybe Shaw wanted to do the dumbbell, or they said just do the dumbbell this year. I think I think that'll be interesting. The three of them going for the sear dumbbell.
Mark Bell didn't
Achilles.
want to give him another 5 grand for breaking it by 1 pound again.
Yeah.
The stones came out light. It could be any number of things.
Yeah. Achilles, Kelsey, Shaw, and Dimitar will go for the 315 dumbbell
Yeah,
for reps.
yes, for reps because they've done 310 in the contest. So the record breakers happens on Sunday when everyone's like all done. Arnold weekend's exhausting, and then you just kind of show up and everyone looks hungover and all their free pre-workout samples are worn off. Doesn't even work anymore, and then you watch people go for all-time world records. So you got
I
the
would say Thor Thor doesn't quite look as beat up as everyone else though during the record breakers. I think he gets really energized by a crowd. Uh, so I don't know, and he's also really good on camera. I think being the actor or acting a lot helps him with that. But yeah, he gets really fired up for that weight over bar, and I think systemically like a 56 pound weight over bar is not all that tough on him. But
no
the dumbbell is gonna be tough for Shaw and Kowski because they're actually Dimitar's competing too. It's
and
all three of them.
Dimitar.
Yeah, so they're gonna be beat up.
I will note that I think Dimitar struggles a little bit more with the globe style dumbbells than the
Yeah,
a
yeah.
big dog style. It seems not that he struggles, but his biggest lifts have been on the more where it has like the flat side.
I think it's limb length. I think it has a lot to do with limb length.
Yeah, they're a little shorter.
Yeah.
You can kind of
Well,
tuck it up against your ear better.
that one dumbbell that he did in England was insanely huge.
Yeah.
But he seemed to get it in a really good position, and he was fine with it. But that'll be interesting. I don't know. I don't even know uh, who would win that. I guess who's ever the least beat up.
Yeah, let's go down these event by event. We got weight over bar, like you said, Hafthor Bjornsson, 56 pound. He's gonna try to do over 20 feet. I think he does that easily again. I don't.
Easily
It's
rips
just
his shirt off.
yeah, screams. 5,000 yes men, as Eddie Hall would say, erupt. But
I guess since we're talking about Thor, I was super stoked to watch that Rogue video the other day, and
oh, was it boring
yeah,
or what?
as we kind of discussed, like last year's was really good. Like they got his dog involved, and he walked through his trophies, and this year it was just, I don't know. I guess it was pretty anticlimactic.
I
You know,
I think it's just he's one of the most well publicized and followed strongman. So it's kind of like what do you do now? He's big. He plays the mountain. He's won stuff. He's almost won stuff. He likes suits. He lives in Iceland. There's
Yeah.
stones here. They did a little bit just like showing some of his family and just that like he's the shortest one of all of them is interesting, and that how supportive his dad was cool, and then just going like Icelandic rock hunting.
That I wish they had shown the actual rock hunting, and then I would have liked to have seen some of the training for that, because they had the deadlift in there. It wasn't that the deadlift where he broke the bar.
When did he break a bar?
He went because he did the 1,000 like a week.
I think
or 2
the
weeks
clamps
ago.
just came off.
Yeah, but he said he was gonna go for a double, and then I don't think he actually went for the double in the video because, well, he said they broke, but I guess maybe it was just the clamps. I don't know exactly what happened, but he did two singles easily.
Yeah, it could be lost in translation. Anyways, yeah, I think he easily does that. The video was a little bit boring. Jerry Pritchett's was amazing.
Oh my God, it was so awesome.
And it's good to see, him get more notoriety from a big source like Rogue. He's just a hard-working dude. He's like the all-American guy, competing in strongman.
I liked how he's like, get home, hang out with wife, the kids, and then I go to bed for 4 hours and get up and do it again. And I was just like, Jesus, like that is impressive.
He ain't kidding. Like that's not one of those ones where when strongmen talk about how many calories they eat in a day or all that bullshit that people go around to make it seem obvious. Like, no, that's what he does every day, and
that's super impressive. I mean, everyone is. There are a lot of people out there that you'll hear, but like, oh, if you're not sleeping 7 or 8 hours a night, you're quitting yourself and you're doing it half-assed. Tell that to Jerry Pritchett, and he'll be like, I sleep for 4 hours and I'm still deadlifting over 1,000 and over 900 every week.
Yeah, every week.
Yeah,
it's insane. Yeah. Then next up, Sear dumbbell, Kilkowski, Shaw, Sabatinov. We talked about that. I don't know. Kilkowski's coming off some sort of injury. He looked strong in the most recent videos I saw, but it's hard to say. If anyone's going to do that. I think, it's so dependent on all your stabilizer muscles and getting in a good position. And after you've already done 2 days of literally the heaviest events in all of strongman, it's hard to pull such a technical lift off, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard. I think it'll be hard for all of them. It's just going to be whoever's the least beat up.
Yeah. Whoever.
I mean, fresh, they could all do it. They could all do 315.
Yeah, if this was done on Thursday, I think they all do it. Well, I guess it's who does the most reps, but they'd all do it. And probably for 2-3 reps maybe on Thursday. Sunday's a lot different.
I'll be really surprised, impressed if anyone does more than 2.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
for sure.
I don't know what kind of time limit they have, but I mean, 2 or 3 is about the most I could expect out of them.
So let's go into the Henry Milo Steinborn Rockover Squat. Good old Martins is lifting this. I'm sure this was a Ode Haugen idea.
Oh
And
yeah.
I say one of the best ways to set a world record is to find one of the most obscure lifts possible that no one knew existed, then do it. Like, you know, when Thor did that giant log carry that they said was like
Yeah.
a 10,000-year-old record, like, has anyone tried it again in 10,000 years? Was it even ever true? That's something I always wonder when there's these, you know, old time strongman records, like how factual were the actual weights used? But in this case, I don't think this was the easiest way to go. That's a very hard lift to do.
Yeah.
And 550 pounds is a lot of weight that way. Did Steinborn actually do it back then? I think that's doubtful, but it's what the history books say, and I think it can be done to do more. Martins has the benefit of not competing, you know, the Arnold Classic. Other than I'm sure he's going to be going around and doing something.
Yeah, I'll probably see a stone and be like, "What's it loaded to?" They'd be like, "450." I'll do 2.
I'll press it. So
Yeah.
I think he'll do that. You know, usually that's the easy way to set a world record. In this case, definitely not. You know, the bar. This happened before there were squat racks, and people like, you know, I think if I got a bar on my back somehow, and then stood up and down with it, I think it would be very beneficial to building strength. But the bars were on the ground, and they didn't think about, you know, maybe let's use barrels or have some friends or something. But none of those existed for Milo Steinborn back then. So he just grabbed one end, kind of did like a finger style to stand it up on its end, put it on his back, and then you kind of lean over. And in this style, you have to lean all the way over, stand it up on the other end, and then go back to it on your back and stand up. I'm not sure. So that's what the rock over means. I'm not sure why that part, you know, is beneficial, but you know, a lot of the stuff back then was like trick lifts. Like people were like, oh, is he now going to squat it? Whoa, he put it on the other side. Then they go. You know, it was all for show. And
in a niche sport like strongman, I mean, Martins is doing a hell of a job, like carving out like an even more just impressive, obscure, just not only is he top 5 in the world, but he also does all this other just crazy, wins the Moss World Championship, incredible like grip strength, and then just all these records.
Yes. I have an idea for Martins that I think would be beneficial. I think he needs to start I'm pretty sure he plays a lot of video games, and that's how he recovers from training. I think Martins could make a killing if he had a Twitch stream.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Why is I don't know, maybe he just hasn't thought of it, but that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
World's strongest video gamer.
Sure. Yeah, he just sits there and plays video games and talks to everyone like Martins does. I mean, I'd probably pay for that. So.
Yeah, and then like in between you know, he'll be doing like bent presses like in between sessions of whatever he's playing.
Yeah, just hook it up at the gym sometimes.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know exactly how Twitch streams work. I just know that a lot of people watch people play video games, and somehow these people make money. I don't know if it's off of ads like YouTube or what, but I think
something to be explored.
Yeah, I know if I was Martins, this is what I'd be doing. But
getting ready for Worlds. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the most unique way possible.
I'm here in Malaysia. Let's play Call of Duty.
So I guess Slater Stones, last record breakers?
Yeah, and I think this is the coolest part of the Rogue record breakers this year, that the women are going on stage. I'm pretty sure I'm right here, but the long-standing Atlas Stone record until just a couple years ago by Jill Mills doing 300 pounds, I'm pretty sure was an exhibition at an Arnold early on in like the early 2000s.
I think it was, because that stone is at the is at the museum in Texas. Is at Terry Todd's museum. I saw that stone. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And I'm not sure that there's been an exhibition style with strong women since, but it's awesome to see that growth and that they're, including the strong women again, which strong women's probably at an all-time high as far as talent and ability. I think there's a lot of other lifts they could have competed in the record breakers. But, there's four women are going to do a Slater Stone record breaker for a new Atlas Stone record. They're going to do a 309-pound stone over a 44-inch bar. Those who complete the feat will attempt to do the same with a 324-pound stone for reps. So they're not going to just let ties. They're going to see who can do the most reps. I heard somewhere, and I'm not sure if this is true, that they're not allowing tacky, which is interesting. Kristen Rhodes just posted a video of her doing like a 300-pound stone of steel. So, a couple weeks ago. So I don't doubt that probably all four of those women will be able to do reps with the 324. It's just with tacky or not, I don't think it really matters. They're all strong enough. So I think that's awesome. And of course, whoever wins gets a cool $5,000, which, that's as far as the sport of strongman goes, and especially strong women, that's a pretty good payday.
And they're all four of them are also competing in the pro strong women.
Yeah, which is in its second year, which is awesome. You want to list down who's going for it, Mike?
Who's going for it? Okay, let's see. So Kristen Rhodes, Donna Moore, Leifa Ingles, or did we say Leifa or Leifa? What do we go with?
It's Leifa.
Leifa.
Sorry, Leifa. Okay. We did it both ways just to cover our bases.
Yeah, and we also made sure by looking at another YouTube video just to make sure before, and I still screwed it up.
And you still fucked it up. But I was
Well, hey, we didn't get Olga's name right. Olga
Lyshuk. Lyashuk.
Say that again? Okay.
Lyshuk, something like that. Yeah, the Olga from the Ukraine. I call it's her and what's the other one's like
Olga from the Ukraine.
Well, I call them. There's the two. There's Olga and the other one's like Lydia, I think, or something. And I just call them the Ukrainian girls. They're always like they're strong. They're strong as hell, and they're always in like the top 3 at all these contests. But they don't get mentioned the same, probably because they're in the Ukraine. But they're active on Instagram and everything.
I have no idea who's going to win between the four of them. They're all going to be able to do it, and it's going to be very, very impressive.
I will have to say, if you go by who wins the stones every year, who holds the current, non-Arnold record, with Atlas Stones, it's Donna Moore. So
she is incredible at stones. Watching her at Worlds was,
I think all of them will put on good performances, but if there was odds, she'd be the favorite. Just you got to go off of past performances. So
because that was the second day at Worlds for Stones, and she beat Kristen Rhodes.
Yeah, she beat that. And she also holds the record. She won the Stone Series the year before at Worlds. She at like Europe, she put up. I think they had she did like some expo at one of the Giants lives, and where they had at the end a 300-something pound stone, and she loaded it. So it's just you got to go off of past performances. That's all we can really do, and training clips, And it's hard to bet against Donna in this, but I think it'll be close, and all of them will definitely get reps. I think
so. You want to transition right into the strong woman competition, the pro competition?
That would make sense. So the Arnold Pro Strong Women in its second year. I just want to explain the qualifying process a little bit as I understand it. You have to qualify at strongest woman in the world, and from that they pick. I think there's some other ways, but that's the main way. And if you look at the competitors, you might look at a couple of them. Yeah, that's the other Ukrainian, Lydia Hunko. Probably saying that wrong too. But you look and you go look, and you might know some of the competitors. You go, isn't she a middleweight? Isn't she a lightweight? Well, that's how it works. Is they take, the top performances in each of the three major divisions in strong woman, and they all get invites. The top three or so in each, whatever it is, to compete in open. Which I think there's a better way to do that. Honestly, last year, Leifa did win as a middleweight. So I think it's really competitive. I don't think there's too much of a drop off, and depending on the type of events, the middleweight women, which is, under 180 pounds, are right up there with the top, the top 5 middleweight women and the top 5, heavyweight women are right at about the same level and can trade points depending on the events and make a competitive show. But when you get down to someone has to compete at under 140 pounds, which means for this, they're probably weighing at the max 160 pounds. That's just a whole different body type, in my opinion. Yeah. And it's tough, not disparaging those competitors. If they qualify, if I qualified to go to Worlds as a 175 and that's the rules, I'd definitely go and give it my all. But it's a tough challenge, and last year I don't think that they were more towards the bottom, and I think if you're picking 10 women to get on one of the biggest stages in the sport, you want the 10 absolute strongest, in my opinion, right? And you maybe want to open it up and have like a different class for competitors where they can actually excel and show, instead of it's just like, wow, that's pretty heavy for them. And some might, and tell me to shut up after this. But I think that's how it was. I know like one year when I did the Arnold, they took like the top 175s and the top 200s and made them do 185. And that didn't, like, you should, whatever weight you qualify as should be what you compete at. Like, I've never understood that. It's the same with the amateur strongman, where, if you, and it's worked out well sometimes, but like if you qualify as a 200 and then you compete 231, it used to be, especially in the heavyweights, it used to be the top 15 overall. Like when Obi went to Arnold Amateur back in 2012 or whatever the hell it was, they just took the top 15 overall. You're like, you guys scored the highest 15 out of everything, you go, which makes the most sense to me. Like it should be, you scored the most, not like you can have someone who placed like 30th overall, and then because they were 4th in a subcategory, they go, instead of someone who placed like, 10th or something overall. But there's just more depth in their subcategory.
Well, no matter what, I mean, it's going to be it'll be badass again. I'm looking forward to watching this. But I don't know all of the events, I guess. And they're not on the page broken down like the men's.
They have, well, I looked that up, then they have a 13-inch axle deadlift for reps, which I believe is about 520 pounds.
Is it going to be with tires or on Mike Barrow's Power Center jack stand?
I honestly don't know. Hold on. I know there's a max log.
Yep.
Which, will we see another world record? It's
any idea what log they're using? Anyone mention that?
I think it's it's probably a 10 or a 12. I don't know on that.
I'm just wondering if it's going to be a Slater wooden log or
Okay, so yeah, I got them right here. Max 10-inch log. So it's probably a Slater. Probably a wooden Slater.
Because it looks way cooler.
Let's be honest. You should at this level of contest, they should use a wooden log.
Yeah.
I think it's the same, conversation. That's what you should do. They have a single finger flip for time. Mm-hmm. So they just got to, flip it, run over the other end, flip it. I think it's 300 pounds. and a heavy Hercules hold, which I think that's going to be an interesting event
Agreed. Yeah.
because we see this at the pro level of strongman a lot, but the pro strongwoman in its current form is only a couple years old, and we don't see those kind of events often. So that's one of those things that could really shake things up. Not everyone has the most access to train it. Not everyone's put a lot of emphasis in their training. I think this is something where some of the more experienced veteran competitors, just because they've been around so long and you learn all those little tricks of the trade, can pick up points and excel. Versus someone who's just a little bit newer, not as well versed in the as I call them show events. They're the odd events. Might struggle just because it's such a technical thing. And it's more just comes down to grip. And
I'm wondering what they're going to hold. I mean,
it's the Paul Mauser. He has a setup
nice
that he sells, and it's just like it looks pretty good. It's on mauserstrength.com. You're welcome, Paul. That's what I heard they're gonna use. It's not like two giant pillars, but it's a setup that's easy to put up, put down. I think it's around 500-ish, which isn't that bad.
Your voice is getting a little scratchy there, Kale. I don't know if it's just on my end or
I'm probably just talking too much.
No, I don't know. It sounds like something changed.
That's fun. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, but not as clear as you were.
Probably just my internet.
Okay.
All right.
So who do we take? Who are we thinking is going to take the overall there?
And the whole thing? Oh yeah, we have also a 10 stone steel, a 10 stone of steel series, which ends at
awesome.
two of them at 230, which I think is a little light.
Yeah, but 10 stones, that'll be that is good. That's gonna be. When's the last time they contested 10 stones?
I think last year.
Oh wait a minute. I'm sorry. Okay, we're talking 5 each side, right?
No, there's 3 pairs. There's 5 pairs of stones. So they go from they start at you have to lift a 160, a 160, a 180, a 180. These aren't the exact weights, but something like that.
Gotcha.
I think there's one other event too, but I don't know it off the top of my head. Yeah, and the 525-pound deadlift for reps from 13 inches, strap in on your own time. Which the whole strap in on your own time thing I think is fine when you're trying to run hundreds of competitors through, but when you have 10 women trying to showcase that they're the best in the world, just let them set up. I like to
Agreed.
I like to see them try to tell Brian Shaw and Half Thor to strap in on their own time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, there are only 10 people.
Yeah. There's more depth at it this year. Leifa won last year. I think she will definitely be formidable again. We have Brittany Cornelius is always strong.
Yep. Awesome to watch.
Kristen Rhodes, Donna Moore making their debut at the Arnold. I think Brittany Diamond will do good in some of the events. I think she has a pretty good grip, so the Hercules hold. But at the end of the day, I think this comes down to another battle of who we always see at the top. Donna Moore.
Kristen and Donna.
Kristen.
Yeah.
The Ukrainian, the Ukrainians in there, they're always right up there. And I think Leifa will be right up there too, but I think it kind of comes down to, Kristen and Donna, I think. And most of the time it seems, Kristen's always right there. I never put anything past her, but Donna seems to just always get the better of that now.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, Kristen's been competing for a long time.
Oh yeah, she's masters level, you know.
Yeah, Donna is Donna even at 5 years competing now?
Probably about that.
About that.
I think I think it's interesting that the pretty much the two strongest women in the world are both moms. You know, I think that's pretty cool.
That's badass.
You know, both work full time jobs and do it. So I think that's a good. Hopefully, the Arnold kind of showcases that kind of stuff. That these aren't. You know, they're both. You know, Donna's younger, but I don't. You know, she's not 22. I don't think.
She's in her
so.
20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah.
I think. And you know how the perception, like the Olympics is going on right now, and you just see nothing but like 17-year-old, women just kind of
phenoms.
yeah, just going around. That's what everyone looks at as like an athlete that you can look at. No, there's two women that live normal lives and happen to be able to load 300-pound stones and put 200 something,
pound logs over their head.
mid 200 logs over their head and be the best in the world at something. Hopefully it's marketed in that sort of way and showcased, because I think that's really inspirational to a lot of people out there.
Well, they finally started to, like Jennifer Thompson, she benches, I think, I don't know if her record's 314 or 319 right now.
Mm-hmm. Like 130, 140 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Rogue has done a good job of it, and then I think she's also with SBD too.
Mm-hmm.
But they've done a good job of publicizing. Here is this. She's a math teacher by day. She's less than 150 pounds, and she benches more than
most of the gym
pretty
bros.
much everyone you know.
Yeah.
Not everyone we know, but everyone that most people know.
Sure.
Like, oh, you bench 315. Wow. She benches 315, and she probably benches it more times than you do. So
for sure.
And she's super inspiring, and I've known her for a bunch of years from watching her compete. So they're doing a really good job publicizing those things. And you're right. They need to talk about that during the pro strongwoman competition.
Hell yeah, whoever's announcing, definitely bring that stuff up. Treat everyone like athletes. Don't refer to them as which I try not to do when talking about this, like girls, like all that kind of stuff that tends to happen. I don't think that helps anything. But obviously, this is the second year. It's, I think, probably the biggest payday in all of strongwoman. The Arnold Classic's a huge stage. They're on one of the main stages. The growth that the sport of strongwoman has showed in the past couple of years is amazing. So I'm not being hypercritical. I'm pointing out how I'd like to see it improved. What I would really like to see next year is Rogue do Road to the Arnolds with at least the winner. I think that's I think people would love it. It's completely deserved.
Oh, no doubt.
And Rogue, they have a good history of or even sponsoring some of these strong women. They sponsor a couple of the top strongmen now. It's they sponsor top
share the wealth.
Top top CrossFitter, female CrossFitters, a bunch of them. So I think it would be a really good move by them, and it would be appreciated. And that's one of the reasons why people should support companies like that actually give back, instead of some of the other ones that just make knockoffs everywhere.
Yeah, because this is the second time they've done one for Thor. I don't know if they're going to do one for Shaw this week. I don't know what the plan is.
I heard it was coming, but
I'm guessing they'll have one for Shaw Tuesday.
I mean, he's sponsored.
That'll probably be the last.
Yeah,
probably the last.
And they've done it. How people say, oh, why don't they do it for this guy? Why don't they do it for that guy? It's always been whoever got top 3 the previous year, and that's how it should be. That's fair.
So do it for the pro strong woman.
Yeah, at least the winner.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. All right, 30-something minutes in, and let's finally get to the Arnold Strongman Classic. Been around since 2002. Brian Shaw won last year. We have a stacked lineup with some new competitors and some new events. We talked about this a couple weeks ago in a podcast, but it's Arnie week, so how could we not?
and it's arguably the most, or at least for me at this point, definitely the strongman competition I look forward to the most. I care about World still, but not. I mean, I definitely care about the Arnold more at this point, especially with how well done how well done it's the past few years have been, and I think Worlds is going to come back up with Rogue being the title sponsor.
They're not
I
the
think it
title.
is.
They're the event
Oh,
equipment sponsor.
okay. Equipment sponsor. Okay, well, I still think it'll help improve some things.
Oh,
But,
absolutely.
this has just gotten better and better each year. So I think this is going to be good.
Yeah, we got, and the thing I really want to give the Arnold credit for, and I want to explain to anyone listening on why, they go, why isn't Eddie Hall competing? Why isn't Zydrunas Savickas competing? The Arnold used to be an invite-only contest, and there's some flaws to having a structured, very clear-cut system of qualifiers. But at the end of the day, it's fair, right?
Yep.
And, you're not just picking out the biggest names and because, they have a bunch of followers and that's who people know and who sells tickets. That's who keeps coming, which is fine too. But there's a clear-cut system. They have the, Arnold Strongman World Series, everywhere, all the different Arnolds. You go to one of those, you win it, you qualify for the next Arnold Classic, the big show.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, the Arnold Strongman Pro World Series, it's called. It featured at their different festivals in Australia, South America, Africa, Europe, and some other events that happen to be qualifiers too. Like there was one up in Canada, which wasn't a festival, but it was an Arnold qualifier. So, and then what they do is you get like the wild card spots. So if you didn't win one of those shows and you did multiple ones, you get points for each one. And this is all explained on the Arnold Sports Festival website. But that is why, certain people are competing and certain people aren't. And it's unfortunate in the way that, because strongmen get injured. Martins competed last year. I think he would do really good this year. But, the schedules didn't work out for him to hit up qualifiers, due to some injuries. So he won't be there. He'll be there, but he's not, competing.
He'll probably do the axle in the warm-up room,
sure,
like cold, and just hit a few reps and
right,
be like, Martins,
yeah,
after he does it. So.
And, he just posted a video of him doing like a bag throw, which actually looked good, which was a big, weakness for him previously. So, it's unfortunate, but, some of the newer competitors, I believe, making their first appearances, Mateusz Belsak, Slovenia, he's going to shake up some points in some events. If you've never seen this guy lift, he's super explosive. You might not think it looking at him, but stuff like the axle, he was going right there. I think he was the only other person to attempt the world record when Eddie Hall set it at Europe's Strongest Man last year. I think he'll probably struggle more in
the deadlift,
like the deadlift, timber carry maybe. I don't know how good his grip is. But he'll shake up some points in some events. Unfortunately, there's not a dumbbell this year because he's exceptional at that. I think he should also be doing the record breaker for that, but that's how it goes. Rano Henle of Estonia, solid competitor. Glad to see him making an appearance finally.
Damn good deadlifter, about at least 900.
Yeah, and according to the internet, I heard literally a comment: if you don't deadlift 1,000 pounds, don't show up to the Arnold. And to you out there, if you think that, you don't know what you're talking about. I think 4 people have deadlifted 1,000 pounds at the Arnold, ever in all the years, or that's
a 900 deadlift is still insanely impressive.
I'm sick of this whole thing where every lift is compared to, one lift where it's like, man, do you understand how a sport works and how it's one event? Deadlifting over 900 pounds will get you points. It's not going to get you top points. Yes, you're not going to win the event with without deadlifting, over 1,000 pounds.
1,000,
I doubt,
yeah.
but you're still going to be competitive. And there's also another 4 or so events.
Yep.
Strongman is not deadlifting and log pressing. I'm fucking sorry. It's more than that. It's not power.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's not powerlifting with a log press and some farmer's walks thrown in, people. It's just not.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, and let's just go. Let's go event by event.
All right.
You see how you see it going. So on Friday, we have the bag over bar. We saw this last year. It goes away from the traditional Arnold of being more just absolute static events. It's more of an explosive athletic event. And yeah, it's for at least it's for max weight, right?
Yeah, up to over 100, and I don't think there's any question that Thor's going to win.
Yeah,
Thor will win the bag of four. Shaw will be close, but I think if it comes down to a final heavy bag, I think Thor is just a little bit more explosive.
Yeah, I mean, he holds the record in weight over bar at the record breakers for a reason. I think if it was a series, Shaw can best Thor on that.
I would pick Shaw.
Because
I pick Shaw. Yep.
Shaw's a smarter competitor, a more strategic competitor. Where Thor,
technician.
Yes, and Thor's just an absolute freak athlete with freak athleticism. And so just one attempt going over a bar, I think it's really close. They might tie. That's possible, even though Thor might make it look easier, But
they might run out of bags. They could run out of bags.
Here's 2. Throw them at the let's throw them at the same time. Rogue, make the bags heavy enough. Yeah, and then the stone to shoulder, which I think this is the deciding event. Actually, I might go back on that. I think this is one of the new events. Stones are back, not in how you might have thought. These are natural stones. They're going to have to be lifted up to a shoulder. Then you have to point at the judge like, you see me? This is what I just did. You got to give that point. So you can't just keep both hands on it, which that's a big factor. You're going to see a lot of heartbreaks with people getting it up to their shoulder, trying to take that arm off, and the stone failing.
And barely. Yep.
Yeah, and a ref going, nope, and you're going to be like, man, that was tough, but it's going to happen.
Is it Magnus? Is it Magnus is the judge for that? Because
I don't know.
If it is,
I know Magnus.
That'd be tough.
I'm going to guess no, because he was named, the head judge for Worlds, and we know that those two don't really, coincide with each other right now. So I don't know. If it is, it's going to be even tougher, because there's not a tougher judge. You can bring up if that's good or bad, but there is not a tougher judge in strongman than Magnus for Magnuson. I've said it many times, but I remember being at the amateur Arnold competing, and everyone's like, I'm in Magnus's lane. And I had talked to Obi, who did it the year before, and he's like, whatever you do, don't be in Magnus's lane. And I looked, and I'm like, good for you. You're happy about that? Then I watched a video of a Australian competitor hitching a deadlift for 15 seconds, and Magnus he was trying to bring his hips just that half an inch forward, and Magnus was like, not yet, and then he finally did it, and Magnus with disgust in his face, knowing he had to give the down call, but hating what he just saw because it was so ugly and so slow, reluctantly gave the guy the down call.
So if barring whoever the judge is, who do you see taking that? I think it's between Shaw and Thor again.
I think, yes, I definitely think that. I know one of the heavy ones is they shipped them from California. I mean, from Oudhaugen's gym. And Martins practiced it. He put it up fairly easily.
And Shaw went there to practice it, I think.
He did, didn't he? I know he went there.
I think because Martine said I was showing Shaw how to do this today, and I don't know if Shaw was trying to keep that a secret or something. I don't know, because Shaw didn't post a video of him doing it, as far as I remember.
Shaw hasn't really posted anything this whole prep, which is
he posted the deadlift, and that was about it.
Yeah, finally, and saying y'all is pretty much oh, y'all thought I was done, huh? It was like that, you know, and then he posts the deadlift. But that's all we've seen. I'm thinking he's in shape. He's good. You know, he took some time off. Hopefully, you know, he looked like he was shaking a little bit on that deadlift. You know, the hamstring's probably still a little bit of a problem. I will say one thing. This event order, I don't like it. Both of the technical events, and it's going to play a huge factor, right? So, like the technical events, and there's also an Apollon's axle, which isn't listed on the thing for whatever reason.
Oh no, it's early on. It says Saturday, March 3rd. It's at 1:45. But there's no description.
Okay.
There's no description.
Anyways, I think if this event order was flopped, it would be very different. But I think it being the second event with a, you know, non-taxing event before it, and Shaw being, you know, the best technician in the game, probably the smartest competitor there is in strongman.
I'd say it. Yeah.
I think he's gonna win. I think he's gonna win the stone to shoulder. I think this is gonna be a telling event for who ends up in third. You know,
I think Jerry, because you know, I thought when Jerry, you know, because he had the bicep tear and the surgery and he came back from that. But when he did a natural stone load, maybe like a month and a half ago, it didn't look like he had any fear. He's like, nope, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I think
he might shock some people.
Or hell, Jerry could win that. You know, you can't put that anything past.
I don't put it past him. I said, you know, I would not be surprised if, you know, Jerry Pritchett won this Arnold, and you know, I stand by that. If there was odds, and he'd probably be a long shot, I'd put 20 on it. You know, just to see.
I'd put him in third. I mean, I'd put him as the third most likely.
I would too.
I think I say it's going to be Thor that wins, Shaw in second, Jerry in third, but it could be any one of those three.
Yeah, any combination wouldn't shock me.
Yep.
It would be slightly surprising, but not shocking. You know.
He said it in the Rogue video. He said, "I'm going to win the Arnold. It might not be this year, but I'm going to win the Arnold."
Yeah, I think he will.
Yep.
But yeah, like you said, Shaw going to LA to work with one of the actual stones, that's a huge advantage. I think, and that's just, you know, he knows what it takes to win at this level, and it's going to be that little difference of knowing to put that hand right here, right there. It's like when Derek Poundstone loaded that sear stone at Fortissimus. He just found the right holds, you know? And that's why this is a fun event, because it's hard to replicate, you know, a natural stone, because it could be any different shape. But
it's going to be cool. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most, I think.
Yeah. Okay, Saturday, Apollon's wheel. I think it's like 400 for reps, give or take.
It's gonna be impressive, but you know, unfortunately, you know, the high risk for injury, especially after doing a natural stone to shoulder.
Yeah, just you know, it's happening 145 to 315. That's a lot of time that they're giving for that event. You know, and the stone's gonna wrap up probably about 5-ish the day before. You know, just enough time for swelling to set in. Yeah, I think high risk injury, especially I assume it's going to be a fixed axle, which makes a world of difference. I think Thor's good at this, but when it gets that heavy, his clean is slow.
Agreed. Yeah, he does not clean it as quickly as some of the others.
The last time there was some sort of axle, it was just a clean in the Arnold, I believe, is when Shaw tore his bicep years ago, and then he had a lot of problems from that. We haven't seen him do too many heavy axles since. I'm sure he's healthy, but
I thought he tore it on the dumbbell.
No, remember they had like a 500-pound just clean?
No.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was a 1-year event. Like everyone tore their bicep. He at least like started that. Yeah, this was this was years ago. This is like when
okay.
Yeah. They had that and then like the log off of blocks or something. It was weird.
The year Jenkins won.
I think the year before. I think it's the year he got second, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is the year he won actually. Anyways, yeah, everyone in the comments, correct us. We're doing this all off the fly. But who Who do you have in that?
God, you don't want to you don't bet against Dimitar in something like that. Dimitar will do well because for one, I'm very confident Dimitar is trained up to 400.
For sure.
Dimitar has gone heavy with this. Jerry, as long as he can double overhand that axle like he has been, which is insanely impressive.
That's
So
just
there's
ridiculous.
a good example. Jerry is more efficient than Thor for sure with the clean. If you watch their videos, and I think a lot of that comes down to limb length. But Jerry is more efficient with it. So I think Jerry's going to do really well at that. I think Thor, as long as he can clean it a little more efficiently or faster, he's going to do well. And then Belsack. Belsack, I don't know if that he barely missed the 484 that Eddie Hall hit, the 220 kg. But Belsack is incredible with the axle. He'll do well. Kiliaskowski is extremely explosive. I don't know that I've seen him do a heavy axle clean, but if he can get it to his shoulders, it's going to fly up.
Yeah.
Like it's going to go quick.
Yeah, his push press, is really explosive.
And it's Shaw, and of course Shaw, if he's that he has a plan for exactly how many seconds it takes for his clean to his press. So I don't know how many reps he's planning on doing, but however many he's planning on doing, that's what he's capable of. I don't think he's not going to go out there all out and just try to do it as fast as he can. He's going to do it. He's going to go, okay, I have this long to complete the clean, this press. Okay, now I rest a couple seconds. He knows exactly what he's going to do. So Jerry, Belsack, or Shaw, Kiliaskowski. I don't know who's going to win it. I don't know. Or Dimitar. That's tough.
I'm just going to say I think Belsack wins it.
Belsack wins it. All right.
He's so explosive.
Yeah.
I think
I'll take that.
This is the event that people are going to be like, wait, who's this guy?
How many do you think he does? 4?
Yeah, 4 to 5. I think.
Oh my God, 5 at 400.
I think 4. 4 is safe. I think someone could hit 5.
4 safe.
Well, here's the other thing we have to remember on the Arnold. When we do on the Austrian Oak, they get 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If they get 2 minutes to do this, 5's definitely doable. Even 90. It might be 90 seconds on the Austrian Oak, but it's more than the standard time, which is usually 60 seconds. And that gives a lot of time for them to step back, go back to it. Like, when you've seen Zadrunas in the past on the Oak the best he ever did was 4 on the Austrian Oak.
He hit 4 2 years in a row. Yes.
And each time he's taken like 20 seconds pretty much in between, 15, 20 seconds in between reps. I think Shaw's going to do it that same way. If they allow 2 minutes, which I don't see why they wouldn't, because that's what they've done on other overhead events in the past. I think 5's doable if someone paces themselves right and is efficient in the movement. But yeah, I think if Belsack doesn't win it, even in getting second or third or whatever he gets, it's going to be like the crowd favorite of performance. Just because
he's not, he's big, but compared to the other guys, he's not as big as someone like Shaw or Thor. So it'll look super impressive.
Yeah, and
Kiliaskowski same way, not huge. Huge by human standards, but not huge by superhuman standards. So that'll be super impressive.
But yeah, that's what I see going. All right, when we got the event that if you don't have 1,000-pound deadlift, you shouldn't show up for. Joking.
That's not right.
Yeah.
we know that's not true.
Rogue elephant bar deadlift. We just saw a video. This is the only real video we've seen of Shaw's training, unless maybe he's posting more stuff on his pay-for site, Strongman Academy. I don't know, but I don't think he has. To the best of my knowledge, at least event-specific training. He looked good at 1,000. JF Karan looked better. Looked better, yes. No shaking.
Yeah.
I think JF more planned on doing that, and it was like even Shaw even said, he's like, hey, if this guy goes 1,000, I'm not just stopping, like, that competitive thing, which I think is cool to see out of Shaw, because it's not really his nature so much.
It's not, yeah.
To go off of whatever his plan is. He's so deliberate and everything. Almost
because he said, I'm going 970 or 980, and most people would be like, well, go 1,000.
Yeah.
And Shaw's like, and then JF Carone does it, and he goes, well, I'm not taking 15 pounds off the bar.
No, he's not letting someone beat him in his own gym,
No, so that was good, and I don't think it hurt him at all.
No.
I mean, I think it wasn't a bad call, but this is I'm gonna go ahead and say I think Pritchett wins. I think Pritchett wins the deadlift.
He's the world record holder in the event. The key to this event is, like, last year Jerry Pritchett broke the world record but did not win the event. And this has happened many times in the Arnold because it has a different format than, like, Worlds, where it's last man standing. You call your own attempts, and if you can get close stage side and you really pay attention, not just to the lifts. I've been right on the stage as media and stuff, and to see the mind games and people switching their attempts go back and forth during this is fun to watch. So if you're at the Arnold, you have to get there real early, at least an hour, get good seats, and pay attention to when they go over in the corner and then they say this, then you see the, someone else call an attempt, then they change theirs. Like Eddie Hall, when he did it that year, he, I think, pissed a lot of people off because he, like, opened at 1,000, then he, like, did it just heavier, so he made, and then he took a bunch of time, went in the warm-ups, like, couldn't be found, like, very strategic. And so it's more, that is going to be based on who wins. Someone might break a world record as a fourth attempt just because they say, if you can get a fourth attempt that doesn't count towards points, if you are going to go for a world record, but they might not necessarily win the event. And Mark Felix has done that in the past on the Hummer tire. That's what happened with Jerry last year. So even if, Shaw's so strategic and he knows what he has to do, he's probably going to place well, but, something like that could easily happen.
If Shaw doesn't need to go for the win, if he knows, if he looks at the scores and then says, okay, the timber carry, I've got to get between this person and this person and that in order to win. Shaw's not going to go for the win unless he has to. Pritchett is probably going to go for something really heavy. Mid, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,100. And Thor is going to pull something big. I mean, his deadlift looks incredible, and I think he's training very intelligently.
He's definitely been a lot smarter with it. I know the one year he absolutely screwed the deadlift up.
Yep, with the Hummer tire. That was the last Hummer tire year. Mm-hmm. He opened too heavy and he bombed, right?
Yeah,
he bombed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing. He has all the ability, but you kind of screw up how you do your attempts, then, you can lose a lot of points. So it's kind of a mind game. Like, someone might, say that they're going this heavy, and just to make someone go a little heavier, knowing that if they miss that, they lost 3 points, and by them missing
then JF Carone and JF, yeah, JF's going over 1,000 for sure.
What's the record on this? Yeah, I agree. 462
or something. Oh God, I don't know. 1,040, 1,060, somewhere in there.
Yeah, no, 462 is too light. Yeah, whatever. I have to look at the results from last year. Let me see if I can pull those up. But yeah, I think there's a new world record. It might be broken by 2, maybe 3 people. I think Jerry wins it. He's not going to make the same mistake he did last year of being too conservative. This year he's definitely, I think, like last year it looked like, all right, he was a little closer to off the injuries, playing it a little safe, just like, all right, I'm trying to be consistent to get a top placing. He got on the podium last year. This year, I think he's, he might just go for broke, and it might be the thing that makes him drop to 5th overall or get first. I think, in my opinion, that's how he's playing it this year. So
here's what's interesting that I just noticed. This competition goes from Jerry gets better as the competition goes along.
Oh,
So if you look
absolutely.
at it, bag over bar is going to probably be the hardest for him because he's not quite as explosive as Shaw and Thor. Then it goes to stone to shoulder, which he's gotten better at. He looks comfortable with the bicep, but still not his trademark event. Then Axel, which has gotten a hell of a lot better. He's able to double overhand it, and his press is strong as hell. And then you've got the two events that he's without question the top three in the world at. I mean, he's going to pull close to 11, and he won the timber carry last year.
So he won it the year that straps were not allowed too, which is important.
So yeah, I mean, whoever, oh God, going into the timber carry, you know, it's going to be between Shaw, Thor, and Jerry right then, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone could randomly sneak in there, you know, to shake things up.
Hey,
like
man.
we haven't mentioned Shivlyakov or Rano Heinle at all, and they could randomly sneak in there. Same with Kiliaskowski, who's, you know, the deadlift is going to set Kiliaskowski back a little
Mm-hmm.
bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to keep him from winning an Arnold.
Agreed.
Because it's so many points.
Yeah.
Because he's so many points back.
That's the thing. Like, we don't mention Shivlyakov ever, but he's like, as far as maximizing strategy, he always somehow ends up getting like 4 through 6 without anyone noticing him the whole contest. Never wins an event. Maybe he never even podiums, but he never gets last.
No, he just goes consistently and just
4,
quietly.
4, 5, like, and then he ends up like fourth, fifth overall. And, you know, at the Arnold, there's big payouts, and that's a couple grand, you know?
Yep.
So, like, you might see someone else who wins an event, then gets 9th in something. He's just real consistent. So, just check. He's, like, I remember he did the bunny hop with the yoke, and he ended up getting, like, 3rd in the event, even though it looked awful. But he's just like, this'll work. Wasn't stronger than the other guys in it, you know? But
we didn't mention the other Mateusz from Poland, who was the Arnold amateur winner from last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I know very little about him.
I've met him. I've said hi to him. He's a nice guy. I think he's strong. I think that the amateur winner, it's always a big shock unless you're Mike Jenkins.
Yeah, it's tough. We've talked about that before. That is a brutal baptism by fire, as long as you know, Colin Bryce likes to say.
Well, just look at the events for the Arnold Amateur, and, you know, we're not going to get into that too much this podcast because we're already, you know, eclipsed an hour of recording time. Just talking about the pros. Sorry, amateurs, but, you know, look at the events of that, then look at the pro, and they're just so, like, the numbers are just not even close. I feel like something else I've been thinking about, just like a whole other tangent, is they're like, in order for something to be like a nationals qualifier, like this qualifies you for the nationals, for, you know, like amateur nationals or whatever, or in this case, like if you win this contest, it qualifies you for the Arnold Classic, or if you like go to a Giants Live, it qualifies. I think there needs to be a set standard where events are within a certain percentage of what you can expect at that contest you qualify for.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can't, like, let's say on the amateur side, you can't do a 60-pound dumbbell for reps, and then when you go to nationals, it's 140. You're not, like, you're not seeing who's ready that way, you know?
You know, and I'll be honest with you, Kale, I think what might be smarter in the future, and I hate to say take it away, but maybe the Arnold amateur winner goes to another one of the Arnolds.
I think
not the Arnold Classic.
It's gotten to that point for sure. It made sense when there was more of like, that was a way that you could
get your name out there.
Yeah, you could do the Arnold, because it used to be invite, and it's like, hey, we'll do this nice thing, you know, and it built up the prestige for the amateur Arnold. It made sense. Now that there's a clear-cut qualifying process, it doesn't. And I think you made that point, but I was going to bring it up earlier. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that is how it is going forward. I heard something
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
I'm not 100% certain, but I remember hearing someone said like now that's going to qualify you for the Arnold Europe or whatever, which I think
There
is
you
a
go.
lot more fair.
And it's a great opportunity still.
Yeah,
But this is, I mean, to go from the Arnold Amateur to the heaviest competition in the world, you're talking about like a 25 to 40% strength increase in a year.
yeah,
You know, it takes a few years to get to this level unless you're Mike Jenkins. And there was only one.
yeah,
So
no kidding. Yeah, so I think that is how it's gonna be. Don't quote me on that. I remember hearing that. If not, like you said, I think that's how it should be. And just going off track record, it hasn't, like you said, it hasn't worked out that well. It was a good idea for a time, but 10 spots. Like you can look at everyone there, pretty much. They're some of the strongest guys in the world, but there's still names that you'd like to see there. So that's how coveted a spot in the Arnold is.
Yeah, Lawless is an alternate.
I'm sure Lawless, if he could, would like to go back to the Arnold Amateur to try to qualify for the next year. You know what I mean?
Oh, they let Marius Lawless do it a few years ago.
Yeah,
so.
no kidding. I was like, don't you know he's won like 5 SCL shows? But
yeah, and he's doing the Arnold.
Yeah, too bad he got injured, which was unfortunate. But before that,
yeah.
I think he was crushing everyone. So yeah, another note: Tadeusz Lawless is the alternate, so you never know. If someone doesn't show up or something, we could go through our predictions would be completely different because I think he'd do well at a lot of these. This one's definitely not as set up for someone who's 5'10" by 5'10", like the year he won, which had like 2 presses, etc. This is more a tall man event with the throws, the stone to shoulder,
sure.
The grip timber carry without straps. But yeah, I think it's gonna be an awesome contest. I look forward to it. I will not be going. I want to make this clear.
How many times have you even asked that in the past day, week?
Holy shit. And I say it all the time. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere right now. Like, that's it. Like, my wife is, like, what, 34 weeks pregnant or something right now. And I'm not gallivanting around taking photos with people and trying to interview strongmen right now. This is important to me. Son's going to be born a couple weeks after the Arnold, and I'm staying home. I feel like I've earned that right to be able to stay home for a season of stuff. So that is what I am doing. Yeah, and going back to this just to wrap everything up, I think the timber carry, I was going to say the stone to shoulder is what decides everything, but I think the timber carry is one of those events that just, like, if you've seen Born Strong on Netflix, or if you have, go back and listen to, when I interviewed the directors, what was that, 2016? You saw what can happen in the timber carry. You can just change things all around. And it's one of those kind of events. Something like a deadlift's a lot more predictable. And I think that is what it ends up coming down to. I think it not having straps, and some of the athletes having to do some more grip specific events like Apollon's, fixed Apollon's bars really hard on the forearms. Which one is it? The stone to shoulder is gonna take some grip and forearm strength, some bicep, which weakens the grip. I think it could really change things up. And I want to note that it says that it weighs on the Arnold website. It says it weighs like 1,140 pounds. That is not true.
No, that was the strap weight. That is not the unstrapped weight's about 900.
So I just end on right before we end. I want to say, if you say we said anything wrong and you get all on us because in the moment we got something wrong, on the Arnold website it lists the wrong weight for the last event. So yeah,
and it says a longer and regulation Olympic bar, so I don't think they did a whole lot of proofreading of this thing.
But looking forward to it. I think Jerry wins the timber carry, and the main reason is because Jerry He doesn't think he's going to win the timber carry. He knows he's going to win the timber carry.
I'm going to say again, so Thor wins the overall. I'm just all right, Jerry in second, Shaw in third. I know that's a crazy prediction. I think more than likely Shaw gets second, but I think I'm just going to say the top three, Thor, Jerry, Shaw.
All right. We heard it. Jerry gets second. I think it's very possible. Wouldn't doubt it. I'm a safe, I'm a safe bet. I think it's I think it ends up Thor, Shaw, Jerry.
I think that is safer. I agree.
With JF Karan, with maybe
rounded out four.
I think JF Karan takes a nice consistent fourth place.
And then next year, people are like, JF Karan, like who is that? The guy with the bald guy with the giant back.
Yeah, go watch that video with Brian Shaw. And here's the he needs to do more training videos. You know how big he would be if he just lifted in a tank top more often? I know it's cold up there in Canada,
was that super impressive? I mean, he's jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was impressive.
I was like, it seems like, obviously it's cold up in Canada, so, you always see him training in a long sleeve sweater and stuff. People realize how fucking jacked he is. I think, I think his following just from that one video probably, quadrupled just because people are like,
he still remains the most underrated strongman.
Yeah, I somehow, just somehow, but let's see. It'd be nice if they end up doing more of those Born Strong style documentaries for the Arnold every year. But I think they'll do it themselves. Rogue always puts out really good videos. People that are asking how to watch or whatever. Rogue always puts up nice wrap up videos. At the end of the day, pretty much. Last year there was a live stream on YouTube. I think it was on Rogue's channel. I'm sure they'll do something similar, just because they have the media production. They're in their hometown. So I look forward to watching it all weekend and watching the record breakers.
Me too. It's gonna be badass.
Any last thoughts?
All right, well,
Mike, after you,
man, I just I'm ready to eat, and I'm ready to eat. I'm ready to eat some lunch.
Awesome.
It's a recovery day.
Hell yeah!
After a brutal strongman Saturday.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, hope if you are at the Arnold, if you're competing, if you're watching, have fun. Tag us. I want to see what's going on from your perspective. To fight me in the comments, as the kids like to say on our predictions, and go on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating and review. Follow Mike at Chrono Strength, myself at Let Kale Lift. That's with 2 L's, LETKALLE, blah blah blah. At Starting Strongman. Go to store.startingstrongman.com. Couple days away from the release of my new ebook, How to Train Strongman in a Commercial Gym, which is only $10 if you pre-order it, which is really too cheap. But I want the information accessible, and I hope you all enjoy it and get good value. Even if you have a gym full of strongman equipment, I think you'll find value in it, because I'm kind of explaining, the systems of the sport and how to look at it, not just like, okay, I have farmer's walk, I need to do farmer's walk. I'm like, okay, well, what does a farmer's walk stress? So how can we replicate that in a normal gym? Stuff like that. We'll definitely do a podcast more talking about that after I send a final copy off to Mr. Mike Battolino, and we can discuss it in depth further. But for now, we'll have fun at the Arnold, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Fun at the Arnie.
See ya.